Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the Channellock Little Champ and the number 40 series of tools. So from what I could find out, the Little Champ starts sometime in the early to mid 60s, and they didn't have everything in the full lineup that you see here. The flush cutter and the very fine needle nose were not originally in the lineup. They started with the 41 wire cutter, the 42 end cutter, the 43 smooth jaw needle nose. You can see these here have a smooth jaw, no bite on them at all. The duckbill pliers, that's a common one to have, with no grip. The rounded wire grabbing and or bending pliers, number 45. And interestingly, the number 46 is actually a heat sink for soldering. You can see it's a spring-loaded heat sink that you clip on what you're soldering, and it's made of aluminum. Works very well, actually. The 47, which is a needle nose with grip. 48, which is a end nipper. It's actually a cutter. It's a very fine cutter towards the end of it. And the 49, which is your typical end bent needle nose. Then in the early 70s, you could see they added in the flush cutter and the very fine tip needle nose. And I'll say that the fine tip needle nose and the flush cutter, from what I could find, were only offered with the spring on them. Now, a lot of these others were also offered with the spring. Here's a 47 needle nose with the grooved grip on it with a spring. This is a later model than the one we have here. So I think a lot of them were offered with the spring, but I think these were only offered with the spring. And then through the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, I think this line kind of goes away. Okay, so I'm going to just come into the video here and say while I was editing the video, I came across some more information that showed the Little Champ series was around in some way in 2020 yet. It had changed to be what you see here. You had the 41, the 42, the 47, the 50, and they added in the 524 to the Little Champ line, which is just a very small slip joint pliers, which is very handy in its own way. But the 524 was added into the Little Champ, and everything by 2020 was spring handles. So the 41 and the 42 would have also had springs on the handles, but just wanted to clarify that. I do not know how long after 2020 any of these were available, but we at least know Little Champ was around up until 2020. I thought we'd take a look today at the Little Champ and see how they are and how they are to work with and everything else. These have held up really well for me. I've had some of them for quite some time. And for what they are, they're made very nicely. The grinding on them is very good. The fit and finish on them is great. If you can pick up some of these inexpensively, I would go for them. Even though they're older tools at this point, I don't know where the Little Champ kind of falls in line with the 4-inch long pliers. Everybody kind of has their own variant of these nowadays. I don't know where the Channellock Little Champs fall into that whole setup of shorter pliers, but these have been really handy. Now, I included the 46, even though it's not technically part of the Little Champ line, but I included it because it's in the 40 series, and it rounds out 40 through 50. So starting with the 40, this is a very nice flush cutter. You can see here, it's the 40S because it's got a spring. And it's just very well made. Very light striking. It's not laser etched, so that tells me this is an older tool. They have the rubberized handles. You saw in that ad from 1964 they had red handles. I'd really like to know if they originally had red handles on these. Let me know in the comments below if you know that. So that's the 40. And then the 41 is just a miniature wire cutter. But the 41, it's nice fit and finish. It's just a miniature diagonal cutter, which is ground very nicely. Has nice clearance in the head. It's not overly aggressive in that it won't, when you cut something with it, you're not driving a sharp wedge in, kind of like what we see on some of the more modern cutters. Moving to the 42 is a really nicely ground end cutter. You could modify one of these to be flush as well if you just ground this. I actually have my sights set on finding another one of these and grinding it down to make it a flush. It's a very nice, handy tool. Rubberized grips. The width of this flush cutter is right around a 1/2 inch, as you can see here. So for a miniature, that's a decent size. Just for doing random things to grab something and pull it out of something, these are very nice to have. Very handy. 43 is one that probably has a little bit more finite use because it's a needle nose without the grip. And I think when you look at the older ads, they don't show the 47 and the 43 separately. Because if you look at the number of pliers, they don't change it. But visually, the only difference is the 47 incorporates the wire cutter, and the 43 is just your straight needle nose without any knurling in the jaws or grip, whatever you want to call it. But these are still nice. The fit and finish is very good on them. I happen to have an older variant of the 43, and I don't think this one has its rubber grips anymore. I think at one time this had rubber grips, just because it's ground and finished to here, and then it's not finished here any longer. So I do think that this originally had rubber grips, and somebody had removed them, but you can see, same thing. The 44 is your typical duckbill pliers. See that there? Again, these are all really nicely made. Not something you really see a whole lot anymore coming out of US made tools unless you go with high money. But the grinding is very fine on these. Very nice. The duckbill is right around that, just about 3/16. Oh, let me get that in frame for you. There you go, just about 3/16, which is a nice handy size to have. The rounded jaw, these are handy for bending pieces of wire and doing things like that. You can just kind of wrap something around it and bend it. They're very nice for that. Number 45. kind of an unusual tool in today's world. We talked about the 46. It's your heat sink for soldering. It's actually pretty simple. It's all aluminum, so it can pull that heat away nice and easy. Nice setup on that tool. I have used this quite a few times actually, soldering things, and the spring tension's not too hard or any of that. Its size is right around an 1/8 inch. So it gives you a decent surface area to try and wick your heat out of the workpiece. Overall, it's just kind of nicely made. It's somewhat substantial, so it has a lot of surface area to wick away heat. 47 we talked about a little bit. This is a needle nose with a wire cutter, and the wire cutter is decent. It's got a side cutter in it. And this is the needle nose with the jaws that have the teeth in them. And like I said, I have another version of the 47. This is an earlier version. This is the later version. It has the spring. But you can see the way the handles kind of changed. And even the wire cutter, you can see they rounded that out over time, making the tools. So I guess you could kind of date these a little bit in that way. But overall, they're pretty similar. I would say this is a mid-90s tool here. I think this is what all of them kind of looked like in the mid-90s. The end cutter, number 48. This is just an anvil-style cutter, where this piece here is the cutter, and this piece here is the anvil. So when you close it together, it cuts. And this is really handy for things like soldering diodes or resistors to boards and clipping them off afterwards. This is great for that because it's really small. You can get it down in there, and it doesn't require a whole lot of extra effort to cut things. So if you wanted to cut something like a tie wrap with this, even though we're 3/16 wide, you're not going to be able to really cut a tie wrap very well. I'm going to go for just the point on it, and it cuts it, but it's not very happy about it. Now, we're not going to damage it with cutting the plastic, but you can see we make an indent on that, and that's not what it's meant for. It's meant for cutting resistors and diodes, and it does that very, very well. 49 is a good go-to. It's just that bent needle nose, and it does not have grip in it. It's just a smooth bent needle nose on the inside there. No grip in it. But it's just a really nice angled needle nose that'll get you into tight spots and do some more delicate work. And that's really what the aim of all these is to do some more somewhat delicate work with them and get you into finer things. This is not the bigger scale stuff. This is all very small scale work that we're doing with these pliers. And then the 50 is a 50S. And I would date this one into the mid-90s as well, just by how the base of the pliers looks. And these are just made really well. They do have a little bit of flex if I push on them, but that's not what these are meant for. This is not meant to be a twisting pliers. This is meant to grab something and just place it into position. This does not have grooves cut into the needle nose jaws, but a lot of what you would be grabbing, the grooves would mar up what you're working on. So you don't really want that for this type of work. And I've only seen these as spring-loaded, the same as the 40s. Miniature pliers have always been something that you don't use them, or at least I don't use them all the time with what I play around with, but when I need one, they're really, really handy to grab, use, and they get you out of things. This much more delicate side of having a tool that you can grab something and place something on a circuit board or around something, it's really, really handy to have something that's not a massive pair of pliers to work with. Let me know in the comments below if you have some of the little champs, what you think of them. Do you like them? Have you had issues with them breaking or the steel not really being up to par very much? If they have issues or something like that. All of these serve a purpose very well, while say the end cutter, the round nose pliers, they're kind of a little more finite in what you use them for, but if you're working with circuit boards or something like that, pretty much all of these have a place working in that area, and I think that's kind of neat that they came up with some stuff to give you to work through some things. So let me know in the comments below if you have any of these, if you like them, if you've had problems with them. I love hearing that stuff. There's a great community of guys that really know what they're talking about in the comments section. So as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.